Welcome back to part 2 of the answers videos. So we'll move straight on to question 5. Let's find it, change it. The answer has been found for you. You're just working on changing it. It appears they were taking part in a kind of initiation ritual. Now, this was a story about a young team of football players in Thailand who went missing in a cave system for a few weeks and had to be rescued by scuba divers. So the question would have been something like, using your own words, explain the reason why the boys entered the cave in the first place. And the answer is, it appears they were taking part in a kind of initiation ritual. So I'm going to try and change taking part, and this is the tricky bit: initiation ritual. Okay, this is going to stretch your vocabulary, and if you found this question tricky, don't worry at all. But let's have a look. Let's have a look at what we can do. So it seems they were engaging. Now, note, originally I thought I was going to write down, it seems they were participating, but participating is too close to the taking part up here at the top. It's much too close to that word part and participating. So the SQA would probably judge there that I hadn't used my own words enough, that I was still using too much of the words from the text, and they'd penalise me by not giving me the mark. So I've changed it to engaging. It seems they were engaging, so now I have to change in a kind of initiation ritual. So what is initiation ritual? It's the kind of thing where usually it's a difficult task that you have to do before joining a group. Gangs often have it. Horrible initiation rituals. A ritual is kind of like a ceremony, and that's less threatening maybe. There are religious rituals and various rituals around the world. They're kind of ceremonies. So I've changed to a ceremony for new members to join the group. Okay, simplified it as much as I possibly can. And the full answer looks a little like this. It seems they were engaging, not participating. It seems they were engaging in a ceremony for new members to join the group. So I've gotten full marks there because I've demonstrated my understanding. I've used my own words but kept the essential meaning of the original sentence. Right, question 6. Moving straight on. The prince and princess announced they were expecting their third child. So I'm going to try and change prince and princess. Sounds tricky to begin with, but it's doable. I'm going to change announced and expecting their third child. Now, I'm going to try and change that too. So how do I go about that? Well, prince and princess, I often see it in the newspapers. They're referred to as the royal couple or something like that. So I'm going to call them the royal couple. All right, so it gives me essentially the same idea. Prince and princess, royal couple. They announced, so they publicly declared, or they told the world, something like that, publicly declared that they were expecting their third child. Well, they're expecting a baby, so baby, child, close enough, that they were due to have baby number 3. So I've changed third child into baby number 3. And the full answer is quite short, because the original sentence is short. The royal couple publicly declared that they were due to have baby number 3, and that would get me full marks. I suppose the slight risk there is that baby number 3 and third are quite similar, but I think you'd probably get away with it. If you were worried about it, you could just change it. They were expecting another child, even though they already had 2 children, something like that. Sorry, they were expecting a third baby, even though they'd had 2 previous babies, something along those lines. Question 7. The First Minister responded quickly to the threats from the American President. So we've got 2 political leaders here, the First Minister and the American President. So I'm just going to call them leaders. Close enough. So leader of Scotland, leader of the USA, because I don't want to use the word America, responded quickly. I can definitely change that if I think about it for long enough, to the threats. Okay, I'm going to try and change that too. So the important thing always with these is to spend a little bit of time. The answer may not come straight away. And you're not in an assessment at the moment. You're not sitting your prelim. You're not sitting your SQA exam in May. You're studying. So you can allow yourself some extra time. It's more important that you get the process working correctly. So spend as long as you can thinking of another way to describe all those words. And if you're really stuck, you can check a thesaurus. But the important steps is to pause and wait. Don't rush into your answer if you're not sure. Okay? When it comes to the exams, yes, you'll have to move quickly because of time constraints, but not when you're studying. So what have I changed? The leader of the Scottish government, that's the First Minister, reacted speedily, so responded quickly. I've changed to reacted speedily. To the warnings / ultimatums. So I'm given 2 options here. I don't think warnings is strong enough for threats. Ultimatums is probably strong enough, but I'm putting them both down because I won't get punished for putting the wrong one down. But what I'm showing whoever the teacher that's marking my paper, I'm showing, look, I know what this is. I'm doing my best to change it for you. I'm giving them every chance to give me the marks. So to the warnings or ultimatums made by the leader of the US government. So I've changed American president to US government. And the full answer looks like this. The leader of the Scottish government reacted speedily to the warnings made by the leader of the US government. Right, let's move swiftly on to question 8. Hopefully you're getting the hang of it. Even if the words aren't jumping into your head straight away each time, if the process is, if you know what you're trying to do, if you know the steps, the find it, change it steps are starting to sink in, this has been a success. Okay, so don't worry if the words don't come straight away. Okay, Kevin Systrom, the founder of Instagram, who has no formal computer science training, poured his time and energy into side projects that helped him learn to code. Now, this is a longer answer. The question would probably be something like, using your own words, explain 4 points made in this paragraph, or using your own words, explain how Kevin Systrom learned how to code. So, I have to go into this detail. I'm not going to change his name. All right. I am going to change this though. All right. Instagram can stay the same. I could call it a photo sharing app if I wanted to, or a social media app, but I don't think I need to. The founder I do though. I want to change this one here. He has no formal computer science training. That's quite a long phrase. I'll change that. Poured his time and energy. There's another long phrase. I can definitely change that into side projects. That's going to be tricky, but I'll give it a go. That helped him learn to code. I'm going to try and change that too. So, keeping Kevin Systrom as it is, right? Tick on that. Keep it Instagram. I'm not going to worry too much about changing those, right? The founder, okay? That's just the person who invented or who created it, right? He's the guy who made Instagram. So that's fine. I can change founder. He has no formal computer science training. What does that word formal mean versus informal? Well, informal is if you taught yourself how to do computer coding in your house. Formal is if you went to proper courses like college or university and you have a qualification or a degree, something like that afterwards, or a master's or a PhD. So that's the angle I can take there, that he hasn't gone to uni to learn programming, something like that. Poured his time and energy into it. That means he just basically gave it his all, didn't he? It was his main focus. Side projects are like sort of tasks that are not your main tasks, jobs that are not your main jobs, and learning to code is learning to program. So I've got the gist of it. I'll put it together as best I can. The man who created Instagram didn't study computing, so there's that no formal computer science training, but taught himself to code, so that's learn to code, by, and here's this, focusing all his attention. So focusing all his attention matches up to poured all his time and energy on small jobs. That's side projects. So rather than big jobs, small jobs. And so you get the full answer looking a little bit like this. The man who created Instagram didn't study computing, but taught himself to code by focusing all his attention on small jobs. So I've changed as much as is reasonably possible without going over the top too much. Okay. Moving on. Question 9. We're nearly there now. We've only got this question and one more, and then we've all 10 done. Thank you for hanging in there, guys. The first incarnation of the Glastonbury Festival was a bit of a disappointment with an attendance of only 1,500 people. So, incarnation. That I need to know what that means, and I need to change it. So that's a real example of a test of my vocabulary. Do I know what an incarnation is? Of the Glastonbury Festival. Well, Glastonbury is a place. I'm going to leave that as it is. Festival, I think I can change. It was a bit of a disappointment. Can definitely change that. With an attendance of only 1,500 people. I can change that as well. So I have to look at an incarnation is to call something into being. It's quite often used in kind of religious or cult sense. Where there might be an incarnation of a spirit or something like that. You might do a special ritual to call forth something, and it can also be used as an example. So the first example of the Glastonbury Festival, or the first hosting of the Glastonbury Festival, something like the first time the Glastonbury Festival was created, called into being, was a bit of a disappointment. Well, that's clear enough. We'll change that easily enough. With an attendance of only 1,500 people. Now, that can be tricky, but what I want to say is basically it's the number I'm going to focus on. And watch what I do. I'm quite clever in how I managed to say that in a slightly different way, but without spending too much time on it. So, the original Music Carnival. I'm changing festival into Music Carnival, just to be sure. I might have gotten away with festival, to be honest with you, but I'm being careful. The original Music Carnival at Glastonbury didn't do very well, so it was a bit of a disappointment. Didn't do very well, as less than 2,000 people turned up. So I've changed attendance to turned up, and I've changed 1,500 to less than 2,000. Okay, less. And if I wanted to change people, I could have called them like ticket holders or less than 2,000 fans, something like that, if I wanted to change it even a little bit more. So the full answer looks like this. The original Music Carnival at Glastonbury didn't do very well, as less than 2,000 people turned up. Question 10, we're nearly there. Yes, here we go. To stay motivated, it's important to always take small steps and celebrate the completion of each step. So I'm going to look at motivated. I know what it means, but can I say it in my own words? Could be tricky. It's important to always take small steps to celebrate the completion of each step. These are the words I'm looking at. I'm going to try and change those. Let's see what I come up with. So it's vital to work in little stages. So here I'm changing the order a little bit. I'm starting with important up the top here, and I'm moving that to the beginning of the sentence. So important, it's vital to work in little stages. So I'm taking the middle section now. Small steps, little stages, and to rejoice as you finish each stage. So I'm taking celebrate as meaning to rejoice, and to finish each stage. I might change that to every instead of each if it's a bit too close, but it's step mainly that I'm changing there to stage. To remain interested and ambitious, that's what I've changed motivated to. It's not the exact dictionary definition, but it's close enough. It demonstrates my understanding, and that's all I'm trying to do. So the full answer looks a little bit like this. It's vital to work in little stages and to rejoice as you finish each stage, to remain interested and ambitious. And that is true for you guys as well. You've got to work in often. A little and often is the key to this close reading. And to celebrate, you've done well now. You got through these 10 questions. That was a lot of work. Hopefully you gave it a good, decent go, and you followed my steps and you paused the video, you printed it out and gave it a go. But even if you didn't, you're still sat here watching these videos, you're working on it. So celebrate that. You're doing your bit to improve your close reading, and you're staying motivated by doing it. Not watching all the videos on this course in one day. That would not be a very enjoyable day. But doing a little at a time, a little bit every day, or a little bit every few days. And that will hopefully keep you motivated. So we've focused on the formula for use your own words. Find it, change it. Find it, change it. It should be your mantra. Anytime you see use your own words in the question, I want that voice in your head going off saying find it, change it. Find the answer, find the caterpillar, change it into a butterfly. Find it, change it. Find it, change it. That's all you need. If you keep that, it's just practice. As much practice as you can. And this is something I want to talk to you now. This is important. I showed you in the last video or the video before how you can use an online thesaurus. Now, you can download free thesaurus apps on your iPhone or Android either. But I want you to get into the habit of using it. Even once a day, to look up one word and say, is there another way I can say that? Or one phrase. It could be something you overhear a teacher say. It could be something you say to your friends. It could be something in a textbook. It could be something on social media. But find one phrase a day and then skip quickly either to your browser on your phone or to a thesaurus app and look up some other words. You'll grow your vocabulary. It'll stick in your brain. You are so much luckier than I am. I do this most days myself anyway. As an English teacher, I'm just always stretching my vocabulary as much as I can. But it doesn't stick that well for me. I find myself going back and looking at the same words and go, oh yeah, I should have remembered that. Your brain is in that lovely malleable stage now where actually it won't stick the first time, but after a few goes, it'll stay there. You'll have a much stronger memory, and you're able to form stronger links in your vocabulary than I am. So don't waste this opportunity. Literally, you're talking 30 seconds a day. You just come across a phrase that's interesting, go, would I be able to say that in my own words? That word's tricky. I'm going to look that word up in the thesaurus. And you go, yeah, I know those words. It's just a case of remembering them for the future. Right, and that is going to make you confident close reading. It's going to make you confident at using your own words. And hopefully it's already starting. Hopefully you're starting to feel a little bit more confident in the way the questions are asked, in what the SQA is asking you to do, in the formulas we've looked at, and that some of the answers you've been given are being, good. They've been ones that you're proud of. You're like, you know what, I followed the formula there and it worked, because that's what we're aiming for. So in the next video, I'm going to do something a little bit different, and after that video, then we'll move on to longer form questions that are a bit more like the exam itself. Okay, I'll see you in the next video.